My God. Hello. I forgot to change the screen. It's been one of those days. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the HP podcast, episode number 360.
Ooh wee.
Is that right? I didn't write it down this week.
360. We
Dude.
hit 300 last year, right?
360?
Just like the Xbox.
5 more and have been doing this for a year.
What?
365.
I don't show up every day.
You can't just give this to me. Like, does it mean that much to you to not just give it to me?
This is the HP podcast. I'm Ben. With me here today are the beautiful boys, and one of them's not as smart as the other.
Yeah.
Apparently. I'm not going to say which one that is. They can call themselves out. But hello, boys. How are you? Brandon, let's start with you since you have something to say, apparently. You're drinking, aren't you?
A little bit. What's it to you? Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm really good. I actually just started drinking. I had a nice dinner. I got a nice Christmas present. This is for the audio listeners. It is 8 Oaks Farm Distilled American Dry Gin. Fancy ass bottle. Yeah, I just put it at the desk so I could top myself up all show. But yeah, I'm doing so good, man. So good. Had a great day. Nice relaxing day.
Nice.
And just been hanging out. Played some video games earlier. Dicked around for a bit. Can't complain too much. And now I'm here with the boys. So
you got another Christmas. Well, it wasn't really a Christmas present. It was just a gift behind you there.
Oh, that's true. Ben 3D printed me the anvil from Arc Raiders.
I can't. It's so funny because this program I'm using, I can't see anything. I know what it looks like. I spent probably 40 hours with it.
This is for the audio listeners.
Yeah.
Dave, I know you're from Canada, but this is a gun. This is a weapon. Stick 'em up, Dave. So we'll just keep that at the desk in case anyone needs a bit of justice this broadcast. But yeah, I'm good. I got the gun on deck. Got the gun and the liquor apparently, so it's feeling awfully right. But yeah, I'm good. Dave,
can you explain to me why you just typed "come" into the chat?
One Zone Grief said we've come full circle, and I just saw the word "come."
We have come full circle.
I think that means we could air one episode of the HP podcast every single day, and we would fill a year. So I guess that's full circle, or 360 moment.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's why I typed the word "come." C-U-M in the chat.
That's what I was trying to say earlier, but Ben didn't.
I'm surprised you needed so much context for that. But.
See, whenever, well, he said so we come full circle, and then you write the word. I didn't read the message before. You read each message as if it's its own message.
Yeah, fair enough.
What would coming full circle be though?
No, let's not. Let's.
Okay, we don't want to go down that. Okay.
Let's not. Right. Not this early in the show.
I'm a little bit curious now. I don't know if I'm gonna be so distracted all show.
Why don't you
now.
Google it, Brandon, and Dave and I will talk for a little bit.
No, this is like uncharted territories, like the cure for cancer. Like nobody knows what it means to CUM full circle.
I would venture. I don't want to get into this. I would venture a guess somebody knows what it means.
Johnny Sins, maybe.
Legend.
The man of many professions.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Glad to hear it.
Green Shirt Daddy's back. Had a nice day today. I went to work today. I work 1 day a week in the office. And it's kind of become like Fuck It Wednesday, where my wife also works from the office some Wednesdays, and we pick up our daughter on the way home. And instead of like coming home and rushing through dinner so I can make it to this godforsaken show, we just say fuck it and we order takeout. So we did that today, and I was eating at this place called Harvey's, which is a fast food chain, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, they don't have this in the States. It's nothing special. I mean, Harvey's is like they're known for their Angus burgers, It's fast food, but I guess the difference is like you dress your burgers like you would at a Subway. So you order your burger and then it goes down like the assembly line where someone says, "What do you want on it?" and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I can't say enough about a fresh tasting Angus burger. You know, so yeah, I'm good. I'm full. I got a poutine on the side, which I don't normally do, but we out here, I suppose.
Nice.
So is a Fuck It Wednesday better or worse than Slur Saturday?
Slur Saturday is better because
Okay.
there's alcohol. But it is nice to have sort of that hump day meal and not worrying about cooking and cleaning and all that stuff. And yeah, here with the boys.
Dave, I want to physically harm you right now because you're talking about food, and I have not eaten in, let me look. It just crossed 3 days and 42 minutes. So 72 hours and 42 minutes.
You
Oh,
want to
my
harm
bad.
Dave because you chose not to eat.
I don't want to harm him because of anything he did. I didn't say that.
If I knew you were fasting, I wouldn't have said anything.
You should have talked more about how delicious they were. No,
I-
actually, it's not that bad. I every like 5-6 hours I get like a pretty big hunger pain and then it goes away. But other than that, it's great.
Is
Just
this a religious fast?
no.
Is it Eid down in Western Pennsylvania?
What is it? What?
Eid?
I don't know what that is.
It's like a Muslim celebration where
Oh,
It's definitely
yeah.
not that then.
Yeah, it's that.
I'm not
While we're
Muslim.
on the subject, I made really nice over easy eggs today with rice with a little bit of vinegar on there and truffle hot sauce, a little bit of teriyaki sauce in that bitch.
Yeah. Brandon, have you ever gone 72 hours without eating?
Why would I do that?
I didn't say you should have. I just asked if you had.
No, I haven't. I frequently will fast for like 12 to 14. That's just because of pure laziness. Like I'll wake up super late and then eat dinner, and that'd be my first meal since last dinner.
Yeah.
But
That's kind of like
yeah.
a regular thing for me.
Yeah, I don't think I would do that for any reason whatsoever, unless I was mandated to. Until Big Brother takes over, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. I understand. Dave?
can we stay on the subject of food for one more second?
Well,
Absolutely.
first I want to know if you've ever fasted like a long period of time.
No,
Damn.
no. I mean, like a day maybe for some medical procedure. I don't remember what, but I'm sure I have. But I just want to say, Brandon, I am thoroughly impressed anytime you talk food because I've never, I'm sure we've eaten together before, but when you talk about the stuff you prepare, the range you have, my son, is excellent.
Yeah. I like to get in this shit. I really live this shit. Some people just like to talk a big game and be doing Chef Boyardee. I live it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
It's it doesn't go unnoticed, and I wanted you to know that.
Thank you, sir. I make love to the food. That's what I always say. Not literally. If you eat at my house, I'm not going to fuck your food unless you ask me to. But
I've seen some disgusting things you've done to food. All of it with your mouth, but yeah.
I could do some dangerous things with my mouth, Ben.
Is this full circle?
This is
Full
coming
circle
full
goes.
circle. This is actually coming full circle. Okay.
we did it.
See, we got there. You didn't want to get there, and sometimes these things just work themselves out.
Well, I'm happy that everything worked itself out. I had something else to talk about. It's gone now.
He's so hungry he can't even.
No, I'm
he
actually
can't
fine right
even-
now. Like 2 hours ago, I was like, all right, well. So I originally was going to do it just for 72 hours. And then I realized that like the last meal I ate was like 6:30-ish or 6 or 6:30 on Sunday. And so technically that counted. But I'm planning on just going until tomorrow morning and see how I feel. And
There you go.
then it is a little bit startling to me how very little it has affected me other than mentally. Cause you like, you eat as part of your day normally. So you just don't understand why you're not eating subconsciously. But other than that, like physically, people are like, oh, if I go like 12 hours without eating, I get dizzy and whatever. And I understand, blood sugar, all that kind of stuff. That's all a thing. But all I've determined is that I have way too much to burn for not eating to affect me dramatically. So we'll fix that. You guys want to talk about some video games?
Cheers.
Let's do it.
Brandon, what do you got mixed with that gin? And why are you mixing with excellent gin?
I don't think it's an excellent gin. I think it's a fine gin.
Okay.
It just has a nice bottle.
It looked like a really nice gin. I've never had it.
No, it's made in PA. Not that stuff made in PA. I just don't think it's top shelf. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got you.
I thought about Snoop Dogg, and I was gonna do gin and juice.
Mm-hmm.
But the gas station I could walk to didn't really have much of a selection today.
They don't, yeah.
So we're doing vitamin water.
Okay.
So it is a juice of sorts.
Yeah.
It's more just like juice flavored water. And to be honest with you, I was expecting very little from this, and it doesn't taste too bad, to be honest with you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
That no one has the answer to. When Snoop Dogg recited the line "sipping on gin and juice," was it a mixed drink, or was he sipping on the gin and then the juice? Was the juice a chaser?
Gin and juice. Sipping on gin and juice. The way he says it almost makes you think like it's a chaser.
Yeah.
It's not like
the way to do it. I certainly hope so. He comes off as a connoisseur, and I feel like a real connoisseur wouldn't mix the two, especially if it was a good gin.
Right.
But then why would he need the chaser?
Why do you never need a chaser?
If you're
only if the
Goldschlager,
liquor's bad.
Yeah.
Okay, then maybe it was a mixed drink.
Maybe it was just good lyrics.
Yeah.
And he's Snoop Dogg, so he did what he wanted. Although, you know what? If Snoop Dogg wants to take the best drink in the world and mix it with whatever, it's Snoop Dogg. He can do that.
We're breaking some real ground this podcast.
He can get away with it.
We're like coming up with some real hard-hitting questions.
Come. You said come.
Yeah.
This is episode number 360 of the HP podcast.
How
Welcome
have we
in.
made it this long?
This is a show about video games. I am your host for today.
I'm
started
just
from
done.
the top, boys. Just started from the top. Let's
It's
just do it
over
all.
for me, boys. It's over. You guys want to talk about some games? I don't even.
Yeah.
If you don't know about Patreon or Discord, look in the description. Appreciate it. Battlefield 6 has lost 85% of its player base, and Arc Raiders has retained 91% of its player base. I don't always love articles titled like this because it doesn't matter. Forbes.com says Arc Raider. I think you can make the case that Arc Raiders is the biggest video game success story of 2025. Sure, we have Expedition 33, but in terms of sales volume, player count, and exceeding expectations, Arc takes it. But not just with a blockbuster launch either. Arc is doing something that most games only dream of, particularly live service multiplayer games, retaining an enormous amount of its player base well after launch. Almost all of them, in fact. Arc Raiders launched in late October, and as we're about to tick over into January, just 3 days ago, it hit 439,000 concurrent players on Steam. That compares to its all-time peak in mid-November of 481,000. Doing the math, that's 91% player retention. Many have compared it to Battlefield 6, which was pretty well received at launch. A turnaround from 2042, but launching in mid-October, just weeks before Arc, it's the opposite story. It had 747,000 players at launch compared to 113,000 in its most recent peak. That's an 85% loss. There's a lot more here, boys. You guys, everybody can go check it out if you want to. But I wanted to have this conversation, one, to shout out, the success of Arc Raiders and everything, which we'll talk about more later. But then two, just to, how do you guys feel about, I've kind of already shown my hand. How do you guys feel about like this kind of number? I feel like it's disingenuous to some extent, but I understand it at the same time because the numbers seem fancy. Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you because I think the drop off that Battlefield 6 has had is not positive, but I think it's a lot more normal than what we're seeing from Arc Raiders. And I think comparing the two um is it's not really a fair comparison because Arc Raiders is just like it's out of this world successful. Battlefield 6 is fine. It's going to be fine for a long time and had a really good launch. And I'm going to take this opportunity to correct myself or say that I was wrong. I said that, I think this was probably back in September, that I thought Black Ops 6 was going to be underperformed by Call of Duty standards. Sorry, Black Ops 7. But it would still outsell Battlefield 6. And I think once all is said and done, it probably will. But it's important to note that there were some reports coming out late in December that showed that based on current trajectory, Battlefield 6 was going to outsell Black Ops 7 in the US. So Black Ops or Battlefield 6 is still a very successful game. And there's only, I think I saw like since like the early 2010s, this has only happened twice before, where another game outsold that year's Call of Duty. One was Hogwarts Legacy in 2023, and the other was Red Dead Redemption 2 in 2018 or whatever it was. So if Battlefield 6 does in fact outsell Call of Duty, that's still good. So I think the point I'm trying to make is Battlefield 6 has still had an incredibly successful launch. And the story of this game won't be what happens in the first 6 months. It's a live service title. It's going to be how's it going to be looked at after 6 years. And, I think under normal circumstances, i.e. when you don't have an Arc Raiders type outlier piece of competition sitting in front of you, I think Battlefield 6 probably doesn't lose that player base on Steam the way it has. So, yeah, I don't know. EA does have work to do to get a lot of its players back and kind of have a healthy concurrent player base. Both Jack Frags and Exclusive Ace put out really good videos in the last week kind of explaining what they thought was quote unquote wrong with Battlefield 6. Again, still a game in a really good position.
Yeah.
But there was, they were comparing some of the post-launch content in the first 3 months of Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 compared to the playable content that we've gotten from Season 1 in Battlefield 6. And there's quite a difference. And I think Battlefield players, especially of old, are used to really good new maps and really good new modes right off the jump. And it seems like we haven't really gotten that from Battlefield 6. But content issues, I think, are fairly easily remedied in a live service title. So just put out better content, and I think better content will come. The other big problem with Battlefield 6 that's being reported is the grindy weapon progression system, where it can take like 1,000 hours to fully upgrade a single weapon, or 100 hours or some. Yeah, I think it was 100 hours on average, which that is more difficult to remedy, because if your progression system, which in my mind is an underlying system in the game, if it's broken, it's very difficult to fix that without losing a lot of goodwill from your players who are there from day one. And you don't want to alienate them because there still is a lot of them playing. So I think EA under normal circumstances is still in a really good spot, but they do have some work to do, I think. So yeah, that's kind of my angle I wanted to take it from. You could look at the story and say, wow, great for Arc Raiders, how did they do it? But I'm more curious about like where Battlefield 6 is ultimately going to come out a year from now. And I still think they're going to be okay. They're in a good spot. So
yeah, I think, well, Brandon, go ahead. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with Dave. I think that headlines like this look really good and are sensational, but I think they're made a little bit in bad faith. I think they do the job they set out to do, which is to get the click. But I do think the players, it's more of a testament to the anomalous nature of Arc Raiders than the downfall of Battlefield. And I want to hammer home that exact point, and that's what Dave said. So I think that something else that can't be understated is how long of a tail these Battlefield games have and how long they are supported. I think that these are games that have player counts that sustain well past the life of a lot of things that are similar to it. So I think that DICE and EA know that, and I think that it's most advantageous for them to keep, even if it's not the same as launch, which most games don't. That's the anomalous nature of this Arc Raiders phenomenon. But the goal is to keep the players sustained throughout, and maybe not even necessarily what they were at launch. So I think that they had an incredibly successful launch, and I think that I don't want to say they probably made most of the money they're going to make off of microtransactions in that little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if they made an amount that is completely sustainable to keep this thing going for a while. So obviously they want to bring people back, but a lot of the money that they're going to make has already happened, I think. At least the majority of it. The largest spike of it has already happened, and that's completely normal. So I think that one, the headline is what it is, and it's not painting the most accurate picture. But I also think that Battlefield has nothing to worry about because it's something that has always been something that takes a long time and is something that's sustained over time and not necessarily something that kind of explodes out the gate.
Yeah, Derek mentioned in chat, he said that's a Paul Tassi article, isn't it? He loves those comparisons. I haven't noticed Paul Tassi writing a lot of those types of things. I'm sure he has, if that's the case. But I notice it on social media more so a lot. Like this game lost this much of its player base. I think a better comparison or like a better article, obviously that wouldn't have gotten as many clicks, would have just been Arc Raiders has kept 91% of its player base. Or Arc Raiders has kept 91% of its player base. Almost every other game in existence has lost 85% by 3 months in. Like
Right.
That's just the way things go. It's that way with almost every live service game. And I love how people like the bad faith actors are like this single player game has lost 98% of its players after 3 years. It's like, well, yeah, everybody played it. Like I don't know what you want, man. So I hate the whole comparison game and the whole thing, but Battlefield 6, 136,000 players or whatever it was, still pretty dang good. That's a lot of players. It puts you still in the top, less than percent of all games on Steam, especially live service games or including live service games. So it definitely is not a failure by any means. Brandon, we had a great time with Battlefield 6. I don't know what's going on with it now. It sounds like some people are unhappy with the way things are going. I thought it was great, but there was just something else I wanted to play.
I think it's still great. I think a lot of the complaints people have is the complaints they had whenever the game launched.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. It's like not everything is for everybody, and so that's just the thing. I'm not saying there isn't more they could be doing, but I think everything that I've seen, there has not been that much of a drop in quality or quantity. Not to say that any games company can have a better roadmap, can have a better direction in how they're pushing new content forward, but I think they have continued to sustain the quality that they achieved at launch. This is what happens. Exactly what you said, Ben. This is just what happens with games most of the time. To put it up against something like this is kind of unfair in a way.
I do want to point out one thing. Well, of course, you've got comparisons that aren't exactly one-to-one. You've got Arc Raiders, which is a $40 game, and it's only, even though it's only 3 people. You've got Battlefield, which normally is only a 4-person game, but it was $70. So, like, there's a few of those things. I think Arc Raiders has continued to build steam, and it's a brand new thing. So, of course, new people are hopping on. Dave just bought it a week ago, and so it's not those same people who are playing. I'm sure there's a lot of people who have dumped it, and there are a lot of people who have picked it up. And the same thing goes for Battlefield and everything else. I'm sure they had many sales today, as a matter of fact, of new people coming into the ecosystem. But the one thing I do want to bring in is RedSec. The RedSec numbers, the Battle Royale, the Battlefield 6 Battle Royale, I think technically are included in those numbers, and it is free to play. So with that said, that's not great that their free to play launch didn't go a little better than we've seen. But I still think they're in a fine place. Like the people who did play it, I don't know what the development costs were, but Some of them surely bought skins, or maybe like me, played it the first night it was out, bought the battle pass, and haven't played it since because they were playing Arc Raiders. There's probably at least a couple of me's out there. But I do think it's interesting that a lot of people just didn't gravitate towards a free-to-play battle royale, which, from a great game, why wouldn't you check it out? I think a lot of people had problems with it. I liked it, but I also only played like 3 matches of it.
To be fair, too, I mean, it's almost like an add-on for Battlefield. That's not why people come to that game.
Correct.
I feel like it is an interesting idea. I just feel like even people that like battle royales and like Battlefield may not even necessarily be interested in that sort of experience because it's not what they get from a Battlefield. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a neat idea. I also know whereas the multiplayer they've focused really heavily on, which I think is a really smart move. I saw that one of the major tournaments was delayed like for a very long time. So they're clearly having some like internal issues with RedSec. And I hope they continue to pour the resources into the bread and butter with this and continue to, feed the people that are most hungry and most want and need the attention, which is the multiplayer crowd and not the battle royale.
I wonder if another thing that's making the numbers look worse than they really are is the COD effect. So given that this was kind of a down year for Call of Duty, and I think there were a lot of people there day one who normally would have been on Call of Duty, maybe just didn't stick around as long as a traditional Battlefield player would. So that just kind of, again, makes things look worse than they are. But I mean, to echo what you guys say, this game wasn't on any subscription service, so those day one numbers are all sales. So again, still in a really good spot. It was kind of nostalgic as I was preparing to talk about this story. I picked up a graphic on Reddit and it was showing all the post-launch content for Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, and Battlefield 1, like for the first 6 months after launch. And just seeing the graphics, like the visual design, like roadmap from Battlefield 3, it gave me a lot of nostalgia, like that old font and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know.
What's the last Battlefield game that was really great before 6?
Probably 1. Yeah.
But even like 3 and 4, which are looked back on so fondly, like 4 especially was dragged through the mud when it first came out. And it wasn't even just a bad launch. It was just, I don't know. I just remember that game getting so much bad press, but now it's just one of those things where, like, I feel like in a couple of years, people are going to be talking about 2042 fondly. I don't know. It's that revisionist history shit. But
well, I'll tell you this: the Battlefield 6 numbers, even after losing 85% of their player base, Paul Tassi, are still phenomenally better than Battlefield 1. There might have been something with it not. Did it come out on Steam at the same time as it came out everywhere else? It doesn't matter. But my point is, it's still great numbers. Most developers would be absolutely thrilled to have that many people playing their game.
Can I say something controversial that might give Brandon an aneurysm?
Ready.
As we sit here in January 2026, I am really looking forward to Call of Duty in 2026. I have it in my head.
Why do we have to do this?
I've said it, and it might be kind of conspiracy theory-ist, but Activision planned a down year for for Call of Duty, ceded to EA, so that by the time we got around to fall 2026, the honeymoon period would be over for Arc Raiders and Battlefield, and we'd have like a 2019 moment again, and I'm kind of anticipating that, and I'm really looking forward to Call of Duty in 2026 with absolutely nothing to go off actually. So I just wanted to say that.
Counterpoint, the Call of Duty launcher, which has everything, including the free-to-play, as of 31 minutes ago, had 35,000 players on it, which is pathetic.
Wow. Even more reason why this year's Call of Duty is going to be great.
What I will say to you is there is no master plan, Dave. They cut corners by essentially doing a 1.0 and a 1.5. They do half the game every 2 years, and now they're shitting their britches because everyone's caught on that it's the same fucking game, and they're going to try and figure it out, but really they're just trying to reach into your pocket still, so they don't really care that much. So
yeah, but those first 2 weeks of COD is back, baby. You can't replace those.
That didn't even
Brandon?
happen. That didn't even happen.
Well,
this
It
year.
didn't happen this year.
No, not this year, but
Yeah.
it has happened. You know.
Yeah. And
Um,
also, side note, sidebar, one more sidebar. Give me one more sidebar. Have any of you noticed how many pure COD streamers are playing Arc Raiders now? Like COD apologists, like people that are sucking off the penile gland of Activision.
All but like 3 of them are playing Arc Raiders, I think.
Just something to think about.
All the ones I know of went to kick.
Yeah.
Read into
What did
that
they?
what you will.
What did they say? A slur? Like what? They allow that stuff over there.
Battlefield 6 currently is at 58,000 with a 24-hour peak of 85. So Paul Tassi needs to update his percentages from 7 or 8 days ago. I don't know anything about Paul Tassi. I'm just picking on him relentlessly. He's probably great. I don't know. There were a few things in chat. Let me browse through real quick. Ash says my biggest issue with Battlefield 6 is the maps. Most of them aren't good. Gets boring quick. Only playing a couple of maps I like. That's fair. Jeremy says there's no excuse for what's going on with Battlefield 6. It was going to lose that player base without Arc. Arc just made it easier for players to decide. Arc did what DICE thought they did with Battlefield 6. Okay.
It's so much different. I can't agree with that viewpoint, but
Yeah, it's not the same game. Like I hate that they're even being compared in this article or at all, or that we're doing it, period. But nobody wants to see Battlefield 6 fail, but they're missing an alley-oop from Michael Jordan. Yeah, that's all fair. And then Ash says, I'm not playing Battlefield to play a Battle Royale. And then Derek says, Paul Tassi is cool. He just likes those articles. That's fair.
Paul Tassi is cool. He just sucks.
Derek also said, also Netflix top 10 change-ups and a lot of Destiny stuff. Derek,
What?
am I
He
missing something?
He
Are
typed
you in the wrong chat?
Yeah, he typed in the wrong chat, dude.
I don't know.
He meant to send that to the boys, and he sent it to us.
I think so. I've done that before in Twitch chats. Meant to send a Discord message and send it in a Twitch chat because I was clicked into that.
Accidentally sent a picture of your butthole again.
You can't send those on Twitter. Dave, you've done that at work?
Yeah.
Right
Not
after
the
Brandon
butthole
said
thing.
the picture of the butthole, you said that.
No, you're doing a Teams chat and then you have the meeting chat and you always mix them up.
Oh, Derek says that's just more Paul Tassi favorite topics. Okay, fair enough.
Got it.
I don't know this guy, but I've had enough of him.
Moving on.
That took way longer than it needed to.
The show's
All right,
gonna be
Brandon.
3 hours.
What?
The show's going to be 3 hours.
This one's especially for you, Brandon, and we can do this one very quickly.
Please.
Anthem's end is nearly here. Only days remain before EA will switch off the servers to BioWare's ill-fated multiplayer game. This is from Eurogamer, and it was published a few days ago. Says they'll be sunsetting Anthem completely on January 12th, 2026. I'm not going to read off the rest of this because I don't care. Brandon,
Yes.
I thought this game was already shut off, if I'm being real with you.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it existed anymore. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I've never played it. I don't want to play it, and they should have shut it down a long time ago.
I thought you did play it.
Anthem, no.
Did you play the beta or something?
I've never played this game before.
Kevin was really into it, and I
Yes,
thought
he
you
was.
and I had played it with him at one point. Maybe it was
Yeah.
me and somebody else.
No. He was an apologist.
Yeah, I played the beta and never again. So
Good riddance.
I had the opportunity to buy it for $5 and didn't.
Still too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, still too much.
I didn't need another coaster. I don't know. Anthem, it's fine. Whatever. Dave, what do you think?
This is a fun time because all of the platinum content creators are going to scramble to get the platinum for this game last minute, so that's cool. I also want to say, I think if Anthem came out today and tanked the way it did, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But
Yeah.
the only reason we remember Anthem the way we did is because it was the first big live service tank of this sort of era.
You don't think it was because of
post-Destiny.
BioWare?
So what? But that's what I'm saying is like, yeah, it was big. It was from a heralded studio,
Right.
But like, we've had a lot of flops since then. But I think this was the first big one. Do you know what I mean? After Destiny, so yeah. But disappointing but it needed to go a long time ago. I agree with you guys.
The first big flop from a well-respected studio.
The worst thing about Anthem was how publicized Anthem 2.0 was.
Yes.
And
then
it
it just didn't happen.
Poof. You know?
Yeah, Dave, honestly, you're probably right. After how you were scarred from Redfall, there's a Redfall every other day anymore. So,
yeah, exactly.
you know?
Do you guys have any more eulogizing to do for Anthem?
We can do it again next week because it'll still be up next week. But
Redfall was a better game than Anthem. So
Whoa.
Skull and Bones is still going.
nobody asked.
All of the comments that have been made in the last 60 seconds have shocked me to my core.
We've lost 80% of our listener base.
So we lost one person.
Videocards.com, videocards with a Z, by the way, says Asus warns of price hikes starting January 5th, just ahead of CES 2026. And then Asus sent partners a notice saying it will adjust pricing for some products starting January 5th, 2026. It's too late if you didn't already buy it, by the way. In the letter, Asus points to higher cost and supply volatility tied to AI-driven demand, with memory and storage called out directly. The company mentions DRAM and NAND and SSD components, plus upstream supplier capacity shifts and higher investment costs for advanced manufacturing. They did not list the affected models. They only said that product combinations and configurations will see changes, and that business reps will share details. Dave, are you regretting not buying a new PC?
No, not with the Steam box coming.
Okay, that's fair.
Specs don't matter anymore. We've hit a wall technically, so your Nintendo Switch will do. I think this is a smart strategy, though.
That has to be rage bait.
Bro, you're literally rage baiting us right now because yes, you're correct, visual fidelity, but you don't even know the beginning of frame rate, my friend. You don't even know the beginning.
I like this strategy of announcing, giving the bad news first, and then following it with all the cool salesy conference show floor stage stuff that's going to come with CES. Because then everybody will free. You know, you get to give the bad news up front and then justify it for several days at CES in the limelight. So I think it's a good way to go about it. Everything is more expensive, so there shouldn't be a surprise. I think CES has already started. This article's about a week old, but yeah. So there's some still cool stuff coming out, and nobody can afford anything. So what does it matter? Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I just want to know how much the Steam box is going to cost.
Probably more than it was going to cost when they announced it.
Yeah,
unless they already got all their supply in or ordered or whatever.
It's going to be at least 1,000 loonies for you, Dave.
You're not wrong. Yeah. I think we've broken that sort of threshold, not with the Switch 2, but the Switch 2 kind of paved the way for, okay, if the Switch is this much money, then the PS6 and everything else PC adjacent can be plus $1,000.
Yeah, if they had Mario, maybe.
Exactly.
Fuck Mario. Can I say I want to kill myself after reading this article in Minecraft?
You already did. I think you just did.
In Minecraft. So we have this problem with the computer technology right now. RAM increasing by 300%. A lot of large companies like Asus and Nvidia. Did you guys see the recommended retail for the 50 series, the 5090? So retail, this is a $2,000 card. You are literally Jesus Christ himself if you could find a 5090 for $2,000. So they're recommending
Jesus
what?
A connoisseur of graphics cards?
Give me his contact information. Like honestly, he's the plug. But they were suggesting the retail be like what, like 4K now?
It was crazy. I don't remember the exact
because they're
number,
shutting down about half the production of the commercial stuff, so we can have videos of Will Smith eating spaghetti.
Well, they're better now,
dude. I live in hell every day, and I'm so frustrated by this, boys. Articles like this just confirm that, and it's not getting any better. So to know that more companies are kind of jumping on the bandwagon with this, bad news, boys.
Can I ask you a question? As a recent PC transplant, do you feel the need to constantly upgrade? Maybe not constantly, but do you feel the need to upgrade your hardware has kind of stayed the same, increased, or decreased over the past several years since you moved over to PC gaming? And like shitty hardware aside, stuff breaking, not that, but more based on the games you've played and the output you're getting, the frame rate and the resolution and stuff like that. Do you feel the need to upgrade anytime soon, Brandon?
Yes. And I think that's more a testament to me as a person and my sensitivity and drives towards like frame rate and like graphical fidelity, I guess. I also think that there's been a shift in optimization of games that have really kind of pushed the industry to get more powerful machines in lieu of optimizing the software. I think that's also a big issue with kind of what we're dealing with in the PC space right now. But I genuinely am scared. If I would have gotten some of the components I wanted for my PC 8 or 9 months ago, I would have saved hundreds and hundreds, the same components, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So I'm genuinely a little bit perturbed and a little bit discouraged by the PC space right now. And as it stands, it's not getting much better.
Yeah, I think it's something that a lot of PC gamers share is the constant drive to upgrade, and part of it's because you're able to upgrade. Whereas on consoles, a lot of times, they may be more minimal upgrades or storage or something like that. I think it's pretty common. I'm in a good position. I bought a computer last year before the 50 series came out with the intention to, I guess year before last now that it's January, but with the intention to be able to hold on to it for a while. I got more RAM than I needed. I got more of a video card than I needed, whatever. But like, I don't want to constantly be playing on what I need. I want to be playing on the best. Very rarely do I have to bump down my graphics settings, maybe 1 or 2 settings that I know dramatically affect things. But so for me, that makes the gaming better. But I also like playing. If the game is meant to look bad, I don't mind playing it that way. Or I shouldn't say bad, with low fidelity. But if it's meant to look awesome, I want to see it in all of its awesomeness.
Right.
So that's where I'm at with it.
And as someone who experienced this, if you have the option to either get a PC now or wait a couple extra months and get something that's slightly better, you will thank yourself in the long run for going balls to the wall. Because I've been trying to catch up for years because I wanted something, and I wish I would have just waited a little bit longer and kind of future-proof myself more, because it doesn't seem to be getting any better. And in fact, since I bought a PC, the prices of everything 4 years ago have been insane.
Our buddy Josh was recently looking for a PC. Actually, he's been looking for a PC for like 5 years because he was running off a 960 or something. I don't know. And just like within the last 2 months, he was like, I'm thinking about this strategy. And he was going to like buy things and put it together over the next year. And I'm like, dude, are you hurting for money? He's like, no. I said, are you in need of a computer? He said, yeah. I said, buy the computer. Even if it's not top of the line, buy the one that you're comfortable buying right now. Because in about 6 days, prices are going to go insane. And literally the next day, I sent him an article where like all the RAM prices, like all the RAM manufacturers stopped doing it and everything. He went home that night and purchased one, or maybe the next day. So like, it's not worth it to wait anymore. But if you're comfortable buying something of lesser value, lesser quality, go for it if that's what you want. But I think that the average connoisseur who wants to upgrade pretty frequently, it sucks for us right now.
Yeah. I think storage is next, man.
Storage?
First it was RAM, then GPUs. I think storage is next.
No, storage is in on that whole, yeah, it is. It's already gone up.
Not quite as bad as RAM,
right?
But storage is going to be the next. So
yeah. Yeah, I'm in a fortunate position that I just upgraded last year, but if I hadn't, my computer that I had was, for my requirements, not great. I did it mostly for work stuff, but gaming wasn't not a thought as I was doing it. But Dave, you're pretty content to play not on top of the line hardware. Like Derek said and mentioned a minute ago, that you meant to say Switch 2 was good enough, but no, you meant Switch. You didn't buy a Switch 2. You still
Prime
play
4
it.
is a great example. No, I recognize that I'm playing. I spent as much time last year on fucking GameCube and Xbox 360 than I did anything else. So yeah, I Cyberpunk was pretty, and I recognize the technical merits of games like that, but I'm also gameplay is what matters, and I just don't have the money to invest in that. And again, I recognize the merits of having a top of the line PC that is modular, that you can future proof and upgrade, so I'm not saying it's not a worthwhile investment. It's just I'm happy with my setup at the moment. That could change, but my biggest regret is not getting a physical PS5 because I miss buying plastic.
Oh, with the disc drive.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So
yeah, I understand that.
And I'm getting more into mobile. So there's that.
You're reverting, Dave.
You disgust me.
Brandon fucking hates me tonight.
You disgust me, dude.
I'm not doing this on purpose. That's why I started with a compliment about your food, but
you walked it all back, didn't you? You knew you were going to hurt me.
Yeah.
You knew you were going to hurt me. You had to prime me up.
GameSpot writer Haley Williams, lead singer of Paramore, reports Steam reviews.
She's so talented. Holy fuck.
Steam reviews moving from mixed to very positive can triple games' chance of a sale. Even the most expensive advertising campaigns are nothing without a good Steam review score. A studio that manages to shift a game's review score from mixed to very positive can as much as triple its chance of making a sale from a marketing campaign, a new games industry report has shown. There's a bunch of information here. GameSite charted the conversion rates of 30 premium games against their respective Steam review scores, showing that every game with a conversion rate over 2% boasted a Steam review rating over 80% positive. The report also included a case study that followed a single unnamed game's 21-month marketing campaign, charting the campaign's success against its review score at the time. The game generally saw a higher conversion rate when its review score was higher, with the conversion rate peaking at over 7% when the game briefly achieved a rating of overwhelmingly positive. Boys, my job, we primarily deal on Steam, so there's going to be some information I can't divulge that is like company research we've done, but there's a lot of stuff I can talk about here, but I don't want to be boring to everyone. So give me your feedback, your thoughts, and I'm going to give you some like bare essentials on Steam reviews and performance.
Okay.
Wait, before you do that, Ash wants to know how many hours we think Haley Williams has in Arc Raiders.
A couple hundred, easily.
I'm going to say you get a lot of time to play on the bus while
Easily,
you're touring.
yeah.
In between writing articles for GameSpot.
She turns the settings down and runs it on Steam Deck, I think. That's kind of what I heard. But yeah, I mean,
How dare you?
I feel like user reviews on Steam are some of the most honest ones that I see. I feel like even reviews on Amazon, on things like Amazon nowadays, are so filled with bots, and not to say that isn't quite a large problem on things like Steam, but I feel like you get a really good picture of what games are on Steam, and that impacts my decision personally very heavily when looking at something. We've talked a bunch, you two specifically, about the importance of reviewing games on Steam. And I think this just goes to show like what kind of an impact a good review can have on a game. And I think Steam does it really well. They're very transparent. They tell you how much of the game has been played. You can make an informed decision based on this person's opinion on how much you think they played, and well, not how much you think they played, but how much they have played and what they're saying, and you can kind of make your own decision. And I think that's something that's unique, that
they'll show you if the game's been received for free.
Exactly. So there's a lot of options that can inform you as a consumer, whereas I feel like other websites aren't quite like Amazon can tell you whether they bought it, but that's about it. And I feel like there are ways to get around that. Like, who knows if they've been sent that? Like, it can verify that they've received the product, but Steam, at least the reviews do, of how to like make your own decision.
You can comment on reviews.
Exactly.
You can developers can give feedback and receive feedback through reviews. Yeah. Davey.
I feel like most of the stories I've read over the past several years about review bombing have come from Steam.
Hmm.
So I think a study like this coming out is a good thing for people to, uh, I don't know, kind of process, because I agree with Brandon in that I think Steam's user base is, for the most part, much more engaged and much more savvy than, maybe the customer base on other storefronts. What I mean by that is, from my point of view as a customer, I look for these Steam reviews a little bit more than I do on the other platforms, because I know they're a little bit more thought out and honest. So they give me more confidence as a buyer. I engage with them more than I do on other storefronts. So there's definitely value in them. And I think something that can be taken away from this, especially if you're an indie developer, is even if your game doesn't sell like gangbusters in the first week, you can still develop a very long and fruitful sales tail post launch, whether that's 6 months, whether that's a year, whether that's 5 years. So and there's a lot of ways you can do that, and one is, focusing on reviews, and that's, obviously getting a good number of reviews right off the bat and then continuing to build those reviews over time. And what I like about this article too is, um, that conversion rate post launch it's really telling, because getting your review score from moderate to overwhelmingly positive post launch is not easy at all, because, just like any other game, we talked about it early with Battlefield, where the vast majority of your sales are going to come in the first week, and then after that they're just going to trickle in. So getting people post launch to review your game and convert and buy it, it's not an easy thing to do. So if you're able to kind of keep your game updated, show potential buyers that you're supporting your game, you're continuously improving it, you didn't just throw it out to market and abandon it and move on to the next thing. I think savvy Steam customers see that, and they are more likely to make a buying decision based on that. They seem like intangibles, they seem like a lot of work, but this shows that that kind of stuff matters. So I really like what this article kind of outlined. It was short, it was sweet, and I think indie developers out there can probably learn some valuable lessons from stuff like this. So it is important to note this article did follow premium games, so I assume that meant AAA larger games. But I mean, the customer base is the customer base, so I think the lessons apply to anyone in the industry, including indies. So
You talked about how you pay attention to reviews more on Steam. I feel like Steam is also the only one that you click on the game's page and the review score is in your face. A lot of other stores, you have to scroll to the bottom to see the review score, and they're not even very detailed. They're usually just like a number of stars or something like that you can give a game. All the platforms have made different strides in the past to change that, but I just feel like their review system is superior, and I think other companies could learn a lot from them for sure. They're talking about games that move from like one review score to another. The other thing that's really important, the thing that's important to remember in all of this is that Steam has publicly said to developers, the algorithm that feeds people the information about your game is directly linked to your review score, even to the extent that the timing of your day one review score, whether it's there's like different thresholds, 2 hours and a few hours later, and then the 24-hour mark. How many reviews you get and what rating they are within that first day will determine how well your stuff gets fed out to other people. Obviously, they're going to let people who have wishlisted it know. They're going to let people who maybe directly fall in line with that game, or maybe they've followed the developer or something like that. But like if you reach that aggregate score, which is only 10 reviews, within the first 2 hours, your game can skyrocket as far as visibility goes. Also, if you don't have like a certain amount of reviews within the first couple hours, you can't get on new and trending. They just don't put you on there unless you've achieved that aggregate score. Obviously, if you get into mixed reviews or less than very positive or whatever, changing that along the way, every time you bump it up is going to get you a lot more visibility. But that initial burst is the one that's like they say is the most important for the game. And again, that also goes into the fact that people are most likely to buy a new game when it's new rather than years later. But there's so much intricacy, and I could, if any indie devs out there are listening and they want to know more about reviews or anything, I can chat with you if you want. Not very long because I'm expensive, but it's just a fascinating system, and the way their algorithm works. I really kind of hate the way that our lives are governed by algorithms at this point, but the way their algorithm works feeds me on Steam exactly what I want to see when I want to see it. Like the sales, the updates, everything. Like I see it when it's relevant. And I like it personally. Review your games, people. Not your own games. That's against TOS. But otherwise. Boys, it's about that time for the resolution recap. Now I got to pull up the sheet from the Almighty Poot from last year. Let's see here. Okay, I got it. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Dave will go first. Dave's first resolution was to achieve a platinum trophy in a mainline Borderlands game, and that included 1, 2, pre-sequel, or 3. Dave, tell me about it.
So, hold on. Necessary context first. Just as a reminder, these are not challenges. These are resolutions. These are things that we want to accomplish as gamers.
Disagree.
If we don't say them out loud in front of an audience, then we don't build the accountability that we need. And the punishments are just for fun. They sound a lot like challenges or bets, but they're not that. This is just content. But
Dave, why are there punishments if there aren't challenges? Think about it.
Funny. The challenges were funny, or sorry, the punishments were funny.
Way up.
Yeah. So yeah, my first one, I wanted a Borderlands Platinum in my collection, and I'm happy to say that I got one. This was the first thing I did this year after I played Fortnite, because I fucked something up last year, and that was my punishment for not doing something. And yeah, I got Borderlands 3 Platinum. It didn't take too long because I had already finished the game and kind of started the Platinum many years ago. So yeah, it was a fun way to go start the year. We got Borderlands 4 at the end of this year, so it was kind of cool to go from one to the other. And yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get any more Borderlands Platinum. I know I definitely want to play more Borderlands 4, but knowing how much work goes into that Platinum, I doubt I'll get it. So I'm glad I have a Borderlands game in my Borderlands Platinum in my trophy cabinet. That wasn't a Telltale Borderlands. Had to be one of the mainline ones. So
yeah, that's fair. Brandon, your first one was to achieve affiliate status on Twitch, and Twitch cheated to help you, but you did it.
No. So okay, so no, you're not going to do this. I'm not saying you didn't do it. Twitch
I'm just saying they changed the requirements,
quote unquote, to help me. But what I will tell you is I achieved the pre-nerf to the affiliate status. It also just I absolutely fucking did, Ben. I looked at the stats, review the VOD, review the fucking VOD, Ben. I achieved the pre-nerf statistics for affiliate on Twitch, and then they nerfed them.
Sure you did, Brandon.
I did. It's the truth. It's the truth. And I did get a payout this year from Twitch.
Nice.
So that was kind of nice.
And now what? Partner next?
No, that'll never happen. Yeah. Yeah, that'll never happen. The threshold between affiliate and partner is significantly larger.
Yeah.
Like significantly, exceptionally larger.
They nerfed that one too, in fairness.
Yeah.
But it's still...
So, yeah, it's nonetheless. So yeah. I did achieve that easily pre-nerf. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was good, man. Yeah, I haven't been streaming very much lately. I was talking to Ben before the chat. Or I'm sorry, before the live show here, that I've been slacking off a bit with that, and I've kind of become disenfranchised with it a little bit. But who knows? Maybe I'll get more into it. I don't know. But it was fun. It was fun this year. I streamed a lot. I'll be excited to see my Twitch recap this year. So, did they
You
already
haven't
come
already
out?
seen it? Yeah, they already came out like before Christmas.
I don't think I looked at it yet, so I'll have to peep that. But
Cool. My first resolution, not challenge, was to achieve Prestige 10 in Hunt Showdown. I did that earlier this year. I think I'm up to like 13 or something now. I'm glad I did it because I was playing Hunt like almost every night with my buddy Jimmy. And then Arc Raiders came out, and I literally haven't booted it up since. But I did it. I got Prestige 10 and kept going from there as well. I think I was at, what was I at whenever we talked about it? Like 4 or 5, so low. I don't know. If you're really good, it doesn't take you that long to get to Prestige 10. So it took me a little longer. Dave, you're up next. Achieve Gran Turismo 7 as the most played PlayStation game on your PlayStation Network profile.
Yeah, did this one too. My most played game before was Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I'm not ashamed of, but I just felt like Gran Turismo 7 was a more deserving game to have on the top of my most played games on my PSN profile. So I'm happy to have it up there. It was a good year to do it too because Gran Turismo 7 got a lot of really good new content. Not that I'm really a new content guy. I'm fine with the content that was there on day one, but in any case, yeah, I got that. I will say this was my least favorite challenge because of the number attached to it. I didn't like the feeling that like towards the end of the year I had gotten it and I was like, oh, I want to play this, this, and this, but I still got to put like 10 more hours into Gran Turismo 7. I didn't like that because I was literally saying, like, playing it and being like, okay, have I played for an hour yet? Cool, because then I can move on to something else. Not that I don't enjoy playing Gran Turismo, but the feeling like I needed to play something was not ideal. So, but in any case, I got it. I'm glad I did it, and I'm more proud when I look at my list now. So yeah,
That's how I felt about my Mass Effect resolution last year. I was playing it because I had to, not because I wanted to, and it made it worse for me, I think.
yeah.
Thanks for this evil you've brought into our life, Dave. Appreciate it. Brandon, purchase a minimum of 5 pieces of physical games media.
yeah, so I achieved that pretty early on too. I'm trying to remember all the ones I got. I got Area 51. I got 007 Agent Under Fire. I got Need for Speed Most Wanted. I got Need for Speed Carbon. I got more than 5.
I remember
know
you
that.
did, yeah.
Yeah. I definitely got more than 5.
Have you played any of them?
No. No, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't hooked up any of my old stuff yet. That was kind of the goal for this year, and I kind of failed on it. But I know the things going on, man. I know the things going on. So I also want to get my my vintage like I want a separate space for that, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I didn't get a chance to do that this year. Not that I couldn't hook up a lot of my stuff to my main TV, but I use it for other things. So I was kind of hoping to get a separate space with a separate TV, and I have another soundbar I want to put in here. So that never came to fruition. And I think I'm going to be moving in like the next year or so. So I kind of feel like I'm going to be putting that on the back burner now. I don't want to be adding more pieces of furniture to move. So I might kind of wait to see where I end up. But yeah, it was good, and I plan to continue to pick up stuff here and there as I go to shows. So, glad I kickstarted the collection again, especially because playing on PC doesn't offer me the ability or the desire to get things physically. So this was my kind of my one and only outlet this year to get things physically. I haven't really purchased almost anything physically, even on PlayStation. So. Yeah, this was good, and I don't want this to be my resolution, but I want to continue this through this year as well, to keep picking up things that I want to either rebuy on a different system or kind of fill out the rest of the collection that I didn't have back in the day. So
nice. My next one was to achieve platinum rank in competitive mode of Marvel Rivals. This was right after Marvel Rivals came out that I set this one. I did end up achieving it. I don't remember exactly when. It was early in the year. And I've been itching to get back into this game a little bit. Not enough to actually do it yet, but I've been itching because of some of the new heroes they've dropped and everything. So, but either way, I quit playing because I didn't really have anybody to play with, and I really hated solo queuing constantly, and I'm just not that good at it. Period. So that was a big part of it. But I did get the platinum rank. Shared the proof of this and the Hunt Showdown platinum in the Discord. So that one's done. Not platinum, prestige. Dave, buy, play, and finish 3 different indie games this year.
Yeah, I got this one. This one was pretty difficult too. 5 doesn't sound like a lot, but
There's only 3.
Sorry, I said 3. I don't know why I'm thinking 5. Absolution of the Dead, Peroto, Gun Touchables, Super Space Clubs. Some of these have asterisks beside them, but I'm going to say them anyways. Sunset High, Spilled, Lost Valley of the Frog King, Atomic Owl, and did I already said Spilled? Yeah, so I had a good time with this, and my reason for doing this was to try more games that I was unfamiliar with, and get into the habit of reviewing and talk about reviewing games on this show, to try and influence everyone around me. So yeah, it was fun. I like speaking subjectively about games in a positive way. And yeah, I played some really cool games this year that I wouldn't have otherwise played if I hadn't kind of challenged myself to do this. So yeah, I guess what I'll say is open up Steam every now and then if you're not in the habit, and buy something for under $10 that you've never heard of before. If you like it, leave a review. If you don't, go into the message board and give some feedback to a dev.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a heads up, if you do feel inclined that you want to leave a negative review, if the dev responds or fixes it or something like that, you can flip your review on Steam, which is something I don't think you can do elsewhere. So you can make it positive if they've made improvements that you like. But it is always nice to give feedback before a negative review, if you feel like it. Unless it's a giant AAA game, and then let them know what you're thinking.
And speaking of reviews, I think Brandon's next resolution is my favorite of the bunch.
Yeah. I was going to say yours is my favorite, that one just now, Dave, but I'm also pleasantly surprised with Brandon.
I got to admit, I didn't think he was going to get this one.
No,
there seems to be one every year from Brandon that it's like, that's a bit much, buddy. Red Dead Redemption wasn't a big deal. The problem was he left it so long.
Yep.
You were less procrastinatory. I don't know if that's a word with this one, but
the new job really helped you out, I think.
Yeah.
Ye of little faith. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Just believe.
Play through the mainline Resident Evil games. And to clarify, mainline for Brandon, when he set this resolution, was
shut the fuck up.
Resident Evil 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, including Biohazard, or 7 Biohazard, and Resident Evil Village. And quote, the versions that were available on Steam.
So this was also my favorite challenge, and one that I absolutely loved and I adored. And I'm going to strive next year to do challenges like this, because this was genuinely something that was amazing to me. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed, in spite of Resident Evil 6, I thoroughly enjoyed getting a chance to go through this series, and it's probably going to be something that I'm going to do similar, at least for one of my resolutions next year. Man, I'm not going to bullshit. I kind of didn't think I was going to be able to do it too, but I did it. And once again, I will double down on In Spite of Resident Evil 6. That game fucking sucks. And I never wish anybody would play it ever again. And if it's your favorite, you're an idiot. Yeah, dude, it was so cool, and I'm so glad I got to dive super deep into, a series that I had very limited experience with. Only having played 7 and 8, I had a very narrow view of what these games were, and to kind of start from the beginning, like I have with a couple different series, like I did with God of War, and like I did with Uncharted. It's it's something that I can't understate how cool it is to kind of go through, even if you are playing the remakes. I know a lot of people might give me shit for playing the remakes, but even so, to kind of know the general feels and the vibes of these games throughout the years, even if it is the newest polished version of it, I feel like it's such an interesting and neat experience to kind of see how far the series has come, regardless of its newest polished version or not, even tonally and art style wise. So, yeah, absolutely love these games through and through. So excited for Requiem, and feel like even if people want to discredit me for playing the new versions, I still feel like I am genuinely a Resident Evil fan at heart now at this point after going through all of them. So.
It's a rough start too, because you started with 1, which even the remake is pretty outdated.
It's
right?
tough. Yeah. Even the remake I struggled with significantly. The fixed camera, a lot of people online want to say it's to build tension, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with them. I think that it does build a lot of tension, but it also makes it very difficult to play. It could be both of those things at once. So yeah, I was caught up for a long time on 1. It was definitely difficult to get through that. I almost wish I would have done 1 and 6 at the beginning. Maybe that would have stopped me in my tracks, but I am kind of glad that I saw it through in order. I feel like that was definitely a unique experience in and of itself to kind of not get the shitty stuff out of the way right away. So I will go back and say that 7 and 4 still my creme de la creme. I cannot rightfully decide, or I'm sorry, 7 and 2, my fault. 7 and 2. 4 is amazing as well. 4 is probably number 2. If I'm going to put 7 and 2 at number 1, then I'm going to put 4 at number 2. Resident Evil 4. So, yeah, super excited. Really glad Leon's coming back with Resident Evil 9, and I'm just kind of glad that I kind of understand it now. A lot of people say that whenever you play a new iteration of a series, that you're not missing much, and a lot of things aren't built for people. You know, they're kind of built for people to come into a series at any point, but there really is something to be said about knowing where these characters come from and the kind of feelings you get ahead of time by kind of knowing the backstory and kind of playing through it. So, yeah, man. Resident Evil, this resolution was fantastic, and I definitely see in my future going back and playing some of these again. Some of them, I will say.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
My last one was to spend more time playing handhelds than in 2024, and I put an asterisk on it myself, that it cannot be docked, and that it was pending qualifications, and that meant that I had to find the 2024 data and look it up. I could not find definitive this many hours were on Steam Deck, but I did find what?
You failed.
I did find amount of sessions, and then I went and looked at those games and looked how many hours total I had of them compared to this year. And I definitely beat it.
Copium. He's coping right now. He had to come with the stats to kind of pad it a little bit. That's okay though.
No, I could have just left out the stats because I don't have them.
Well, no, but you had to say something because you had nothing.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, they don't give you like you played this many hours on Steam Deck, but they do give you had this many sessions, this percentage of your game time was there, etc. So it was higher than last year's. And the games I played, I have more hours in. For instance, like Mega Bonk, which was one of my games of the year, I have 100 hours in, and probably all but 5 of them were on Steam Deck handheld exclusively. You know, Mario Kart and Donkey Kong came out this year. I played those both for 40 to 50 hours. Those 3 games alone, which was not all I played, is more than I played on handhelds last year total. So I'm good with that. But yeah, I feel like I've gotten a lot more use out of my Steam Deck specifically. Not so much my Switch 2 this year. Haven't played a lot of Switch 2, if I'm being real. I don't regret buying it. What?
Huh?
I said I don't regret buying it, but I definitely haven't played it as much as I thought I would. I will say this. When I play a game, like when I'm trying to help my kids do something on their Switches, and experience, just like the lag in not only the games, but even the menus. And then I just like, let me look on my Switch, and I pull out the Switch 2 and just get there instantly, and there's no lag at all. Like, it is worthwhile if you're going to play the Switch at all, in my opinion. Is it worth $500 to you? That's to be determined. But I'm happy I bought it. It's definitely been underused, though. I would like to use it more. But I use my Steam Deck a whole heap of a lot more, for sure. Real quickly, I want to go through the punishments. The punishments that were not to the challenges, they were to the resolution. I don't know. If I had failed, Brandon's punishment for me was to play through all the mainline Hello Neighbor games and provide at least 5 minutes of thoughts on my playthrough.
I forgot about that one.
Dave's punishment for me was to post a 3-sentence compliment of Edwin Castillo in the HP Discord every day for 1 week.
Task level impossible.
I could not repeat compliments. I don't even know if Edwin's in the Discord. I haven't heard from him in a while.
He's there.
Okay. Brandon's punishments from me: a 24-hour straight stream, any type of content, but no sleeping, and bathroom breaks were limited to 5 minutes.
That's actually a war crime.
You agreed to it.
I'm just going to come out and say that's actually a form of torture. Thank you.
Dave's was to play Toro on stream for 3 hours within the span of a week. You could have combined that with your 24-hour stream if you wanted to. Dave's punishments from Brandon: play and complete, or up to 30 hours, Ark Survival Evolved on the Nintendo Switch.
That was so brutal. I can't believe I almost fucked Dave with that. Jesus Christ.
Oh, we got one more that's more brutal, maybe. From me: make a video including the clip of Dave calling Digital Foundry pedophiles, along with an apology to them, and then sending them the video. I said it didn't have to be public, but you did have to send it to them. That one's been pretty brutal.
I was worried about that one.
Yeah,
because we never determined what punishment went with what. Like, if I had failed one challenge, which punishment was I getting? And
we talked about that last year.
You two vindictive jerks, that it was going to be the Digital Foundry.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Because we didn't establish that.
But we talked about that last year, and I think it was just that the two people who didn't fail that challenge would pick between the yeah.
We'd give the thumbs up or the thumbs down, the like, are you not entertained type shit or whatever.
All right, let's keep it moving. Can't believe we're still live. This is a long show. Dave earlier today said maybe it can be a short show. I don't know why we ever say that, because it never is. Let's talk about what we've been playing. We've all been playing Arc Raiders, but Dave, I want you to kick it off since you're brand new to this world.
Yeah, it's been quite a week for me. I picked up Arc Raiders during the show last week because I finally gave into the pressure. And I think the reason why I was avoiding this game, not avoiding, but like, I didn't jump on it as quickly, was number one, I don't know, anytime things are really hyped, I always want to give them like a couple weeks to breathe, just to see because things change quickly from a opinion perspective. And I don't know, but I mean, you guys spoke so highly of this game for so long, and there were so many streamers I was watching who were just streaming this game every single game. I'm like, there must be something about this game that is just getting its hooks into people. Like, it's like Expedition 33, and we got 2 of these in 1 year, where it's just, there's something about this game that just, it's like a black hole. So the first thing I want to say is I think I unfairly put this game in the same category as like Warzone. And yes, I understand the difference between an extraction shooter and a battle royale. One focuses on, or one kind of leans into the hunting, where the other leans into the gathering a little bit more, and they both have elements of the other. But Arc is very much more about spawning into a map, collecting as much as possible, but with the added tension of Arc and other players. And I think that tension throughout your entire raid is what is just so persistent and so genuine and unique. And I haven't played that much. Like I'm like between 10 and 15 hours in, so I'm still like a baby in Arc Raiders, kind of from that respect. But I'm two games come to mind, and one is Fallout 76, and the other is the Dark Zone in Division 2. And the comparisons with these two games have been pretty widely publicized. But I think about like my issue with the Dark Zone was it leaned so heavily into PvP, whereas Fallout 76 leaned so much into PvE, and it had that weird thing where if you shot another player, like a menu would come up and be like, do you want to do PvP? And if you didn't want to, you just click no, and then they wouldn't do any damage. And I'm just like, there's no real threat there, whereas with the Dark Zone, it was just like, I don't even want to do this because people are so toxic and I'm gonna get just filtered so quickly. And I think like those two games both were going in a really unique direction, and I think Arc Raiders just kind of figured it out, and it's I'm really enjoying it. I think I made the mistake of sorry, this wasn't a mistake, but playing with you guys first for the first 3 hours gave me like this overconfidence in myself where when I went and played solo, which is where I think I spent the majority of my time in Arc Raiders, I needed to kind of get humbled a little bit. I knew Arc were hard to fight, but I don't think I respected even the lowliest of enemies. And I was playing by myself last night, and I think I played 3 raids and I died in 2 of them. And I'm like, I need to take a step back. I need to do this a little bit more methodically. I don't need to attack every enemy that I see. I'm talking about Arc. And I just need to focus on getting in, getting the stuff I need and some extra, and getting out. And that loop, I think once you respect the game a little bit more, is where it goes to the next level. And then I run into some randoms, and one of them helps me take out a leaper for the first time, and I've never done that. And there's just so many cool moments. And then when I'm playing with you guys and like the shit that we went through in the first, I played with you two the first night, and then the next night I played with just Ben. And like the stories I can tell from that like 5 hours of gameplay is awesome. And it's just, I think my favorite one was the second night I was playing with Ben, and we came across these other 2 players, and we double crossed them, we killed them, and then we left. And as soon as we got outside, another 2 players found us. They started attacking us, and they ended up downing us. And Ben said to the players like, "Hey guys, sorry, you just kind of jumped out at us, and we just panicked." And Ben said, "You guys don't have any revives, do you?" And the guy says, "No, unfortunately, we do not." And then Ben says to the guy, "Well, if you check those 2 bodies back there, you might find one." These were the 2 guys we just killed. And I just thought it was so ironic that we told him to check the people we just killed. So
that's better than what I normally say to people when they down me. I usually tell them their mom's a hoe. So
I usually tell them to fuck their mother or something like that. Yeah.
It's it's a game full of moments, and that's really just kind of what it is. And I think once you respect it, and whether you're playing solo or in a group, if you just kind of understand the way you're supposed to play it, you can have a good time for probably a long time. And I think you guys together have put in like 400 hours, so
yeah,
that just kind of goes to show. And this game, I don't think, has even gotten a whole lot of new content. And considering how much money Embark has made off this game, like you can only imagine what's coming, right?
Hopefully.
So yeah, I'm glad I dove in. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Yeah, thank you both for taking the time to kind of help me along.
Of course, man.
Because it's a pretty steep learning curve, but I think once you get into it, it feels really good. So.
Yeah, it's interesting talking about the learning curve. There's the expeditions, which is essentially a prestige or a reset. And it was interesting how long it took me the first time through before I did the prestige or the expedition, how long it took me to get some things accomplished or to collect certain things or whatever. And then the second time through, it was like my second raid. I was back to where I was, a week into the game the first time. It's really interesting how just learning the game and knowing how to play it, you can start out from the bottom and be just fine. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Dave. I know you're not like a huge multiplayer gamer, but I think that's the beauty of Arc Raiders is that while it is always multiplayer, if you want to, you can play. I mean, maybe you'll get it snuck up on occasionally, but you can play pretty casually and avoid most people, especially with the way they do the lobbies, with being aggression and skill and gear based lobbies. So yeah, I'm glad you're having fun, and I hope you continue to do so.
Yeah.
Brandon, you and I have also been playing Ark. I don't really have anything new to say other than that I'm just still playing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like that was probably capping it off on a good way there. Both of us have kind of just been grinding for the next expedition, so I feel like that was good enough for me.
Cool. The other thing I've been playing, and I will be probably talking about this for weeks, is a game called Star Rupture. This is a game by the developers who made Green Hell. And this is a game that is made for Ben. As a matter of fact, it's so Ben coded that Dave messaged me Monday, I think it was, and said, "Hey, you got to check out Ko. He's playing Star Rupture. This looks like a Ben game." And I was like, I already have 25 hours in it, and it hadn't come out yet. Because I did get a code from Evolve. They sent me a code. I specifically emailed them and requested it. Star Rupture is there's a lot of exploration, there's a little bit of combat, but it's really a factory building game. And if you know Satisfactory or Factorio or many other games in that ilk, of course, those are the two most well-known probably. It is very similar to a lot of them. And it has a lot of the same strengths as them. It has a lot of the same weaknesses. It has different strengths and weaknesses as well. I am completely and soulless. Like, if it weren't for Arc Raiders right now, this is all I'd be playing, because for a while. It is mind-numbingly addictive, and it appeals to my gaming preferences a lot. The exploration, you do have to go out and explore, not only to find new resources and food and stuff like that, but you also have to go to abandoned bases in the world that you're on in order to find blueprints and supplies in order to make the first of something so that you can make more of it. There's combat in the game where you have the enemies in the world that will come and attack you and even infect your base. And that's a whole different mechanic where you can't use your base until you clear the infection and you repel the enemies away. The most interesting thing that distinguishes this from a lot of the other factory type games is the way that things are delivered to the resources are delivered to the machines that process them. And in many of those games, there's a push system. So if you have a bank, a storage bank full of stuff, and it's got stuff in it, it'll push it out. Where in this game, in Star Rupture, it only pushes it out if there's a machine on the other side requesting it, pulling it from it. If you've played any of those games, that makes sense. If you haven't, it's gobbledygook. But the whole idea is that you're building up resources unless something is requesting it. What that also does is creates a lot of clogs sometimes, and I'll talk about that in a second. But it's a cool dynamic in that if you have all your stuff set up correctly, it flows much better than, I think, Satisfactory or I've only played a very little bit of Factorio, but than those seem to. The trees are really deep. The build trees are really deep. The amount of different things you need to do are many, if that made any sense. What I will say about this is it's early access, and it's a good thing it is, because it's not finished. There are quite a few things that don't quite work the way they're supposed to, not as far as the actual factory making, but as far as building things, creating pathways, clipping through floors, placing different obstacles or different objects. All of those things need some work, but I'm very much willing to give it grace because, one, it's an early access game, and two, I know this studio's history with Green Hell and that they did like 1 billion updates for Green Hell and just continued to make it better and better and better. So from a developer that's unknown, maybe buying an early access game is something you want to really weigh your options on. For a developer that's been rock solid, it's a total no-brainer for me. So I won't belabor it too much, except to say I was trying to set up a massive system where I had like these 4 different resources that I wanted to funnel all into one single conveyor belt, and then have that conveyor belt go out to all these different machines, make products, send them back around, get back in the product pool, make more products, send them to storage, or send them off to space wherever they needed to go. That's part of the thing. You have to deliver stuff to space to do more upgrades. I created a bottleneck, and I ended up building and rebuilding this massive infrastructure 3 times, and probably took me a total of 10 hours. And that's the most recent 10. I'm at the end of that now. The most recent 10 hours of that game I've played. So it is pretty tricky if you don't lay out things exactly. Like the game makes me feel dumb. And I'm not going to say whether I'm dumb or not, but it makes me feel dumb. So that's not a fault of the game. That's not because of how the game's working. It's just that it stresses your mind. I literally got out paper and a pen and wrote out schematics today because I'm that much of a nerd. Not today, yesterday, but besides the point. So I'm loving it. It appeals to all of my interest. I'm really excited to see where they keep going. I've seen some of the stuff they've teased. I've seen some of the stuff that people have been like, people are already mining data from the files and everything. Just some of the other stuff that that are already like in the back end, but they're going to be adding into the actual game at some point down the road. Some of the stuff seems cool. And then I'm excited to actually get out and explore more. I've explored like a lot of the map, but because I've been working so heavily on my automation, I haven't done as much as I want to. So it's really great. I'm sure I'm going to keep talking about it because when I'm not playing it right now, I'm thinking about playing it. And that's a problem for me because I have other things to think about that aren't that game. It's very good. So I'll continue to talk about it. I think it's only like $16 or $17. So if you have an itch for it, it's cheap. It's like $20 normally. It probably will go up after early access, but it's great. Star Rupture. Really great game. Here's the train. The train agrees with me. Or disagrees. Boys, do you have anything else for the good of the show?
That's it, brother.
Well, if you haven't already, check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/handsomephantom, where you can help support the show for as little as $1, get ad-free early access to the audio feeds as well. You can also go over to Discord for totally free and hang out with us. And apparently, Edwin Castillo is still in there, but I will not be complimenting him because I did not fail my challenges or my resolutions this year. Maybe I'll compliment him sometime, but not because of the challenges. I think that's it. That's all we got. Oh, wait. We got some things in chat. I forgot to look at chat for a minute. What's going on here? We will need to revisit our accounts when we get Nintendo Wrapped. I don't think so, Tim. Did we ever go over any of our Wrapped? I don't think we did.
No, we didn't.
Okay. Grief says, been on the Switch 2 a bit. Kirby Air Riders has become my new go-to game on break at the office. I would like to check that out, actually. Radic says, aren't you guys worried the Arc might lose its momentum once High Guard drops in 2 weeks? Yes. If you just respond to Radic with an answer, you can't keep trolling. So,
a yes or a no.
Yeah. Yes or no, not, well, I don't, you just got to say yes. And it's always got to be yes. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. We'll catch you next time.